But as usual, they don't come. No problem. And they will come. Do you have any questions? You don't have any questions. Hi. I also want to explain about the exercise too. Yeah. I will record it. At first, see the number of sessions. This is 21. Today is 21. In the name of God, I hope to be fine, and good afternoon to all of you. Some of you come to this class with different ID. For example, here AJO, I don't know who is he or she. And others are familiar with me. Okay, in the previous sessions, we talked about Python, how we can code in Python, about the Python installations, and explain some concept in Python. And our main goal is to write a neural network code. We ourselves code and write a program. For neural network. Name is set. What do you think? Right? I don't understand you. Oh, sorry. I share it. No. Of course, it is not important. I explain. Okay, and as I said, our main goal is writing code in Python for neural network. Of course, you know there are some package. Now it is okay. Now you can see it. Okay. And if we review the Rashid book, he said explain some very simple things in Python, and if we want to know about the neural network here. Okay. For understanding this code, we see some keyword. Class, def. Class is related to the class of in Python, and def is related to the definition of a function in Python. Then, because of this, and this class is also related to neural network. But first, before we explain and review the step by step how we can define, for example, initialize function, how we can train this neural network, how we can test it, how these neural networks works and act. Before this, we want to know about the class and function. So in this session, we want to attention and introduce a function. I know you know it, but we only review it. Of course, maybe most of you know, or some of you know Python, or maybe some of you don't anything about Python. I don't know. Anyway, I have to explain to have equal information about these things in our class. As you see here, when we want to write a function, we use def, and then after that we have to specify the function name. Okay, and then this function could have some input or not. Then we can set optional argument as an input in function. Then after that we have to use a column. I think in the previous session I said I called it semicolon. It is column. You know, the semicolon is different from it. And then after that we can explain about how this function and said that how this function works. We use DAG string. And what is the DAG string? We use this, okay, use to double things and set something about this function. Why we can write it after we define a function, we can use help, okay, help the function name. And then using this DAG string, we can understand about the method of this function. Then after that, we write some code. We have some code. And then finally, we set return. Return and set that we can return some special things or nothing. Then again, optional value. Okay. This is the basic structure of function in Python. Okay. Now we want to I want to write a very simple code. Remember this, and then after that, of course, it will good if we see it. Okay, open this. Okay, for example, I want to add something. Okay, def, I have to write def a space, for example, I don't know, adding underline test. This is our name function. Okay, and our input is, for example, W. Colon, enter, and then attention that after the def and finishing this line and enter, the cursor is here, not here, and it means that it is this function, this definition doesn't finish. Okay, then set that okay, for example, this is for test. Okay, and then after that, attention that this dark string must be in a triple quotation. Okay, not double, triple quotation. And then, for example, W2 is equal to W plus W. Okay, and then return the optional value of return could be anything. For example, return okay, and then attention that the color, if we have, now you see that. Yes, Zahra said that it is just for description. Yes, this green, this dark string is for description. Return, for example, print W. Okay, very simple. Then I have to save it first in the desktop. I have before testing from previous, I think, session. Write test2, for example. Save it and run it. Okay. And now here. Of course, here it is a general function without any function. I have to write, what is the name? Adding test. Adding test, for example, 2. Here I wrote to print 2, print W. I have to print W2. Okay. Adding underline test 2. Now I write this again. For example, the input is an integer, is an string ABC. The output is ABC. Okay. Then it works. Now I want to explain more about this. We can specify the type of the input. For example, set that on, and before it, if I set that, okay, help adding test. Of course, you see that this is for test. See that? This is the darkest string. This is the darkest string. I explain here. And I said that for test, for example, to add something. Now I help it. Why I say it? Because I don't run it. Okay. Again. Now you see it. Okay. Then sometimes, for example, you yourself want to write some code, and then you must share it in Python. It is usable that you write some things, some sentences, and explain about this code. And another features of this dark string, if you, for example, one of you said that, okay, I use this. For example, this. Again, save, run, and then again paste it. Now you see. And now if you enter something, for example, your description, if your description is too long, you see that if you use this only one double quotation, the color after the enter is changed. But if you use triple, or see that after the entering again it is dark string. Then this is the feature of dark string and using triple double quotation. Okay. And now I want to set that, okay, if I have W, I must write the type in front of it. For example, W as string, and output, okay, a string, and the output is a string. Again, I save, I run it, invalid section on because of this space. Okay, again run it. Why? I used it before. Save. Again, invalid section. If I use a space here, I think it is also invalid syntax. What we can do? What do you think? Because of this column. We said that, okay, this is input, this is output, and now column. Now we save it and again run it. Now it is okay. Okay. And another thing I said to you before, it is if you want to have a longer Python shell, you must press Ctrl and J. Okay. Of course. Okay. What happens? Oh, here. Sorry. Okay. And for example, set that okay, adding test. The input is C. After the parentheses, if we wait a little, we can see that about this helping, about the data string, about the input and output. Okay, then I set that okay, I don't know, hi, and the output is again, you see that, hi. And I run it again to open this. Said that now if the input is not a string, it's 2, it is an integer. We see again the output. Okay. But in fact it is not true. Okay. And another thing, now we change it. The W, for example, we have W, for example, 1 as an integer, and the output is a string. Okay. And but if we, for example, say that A is okay, and now type A, non-type. Why? What do you think? Because it returns print W2. If I said okay, it is print W2, not without print. Okay. And we again save, run. Again I write it. Oh, W, where is W? Oh, because okay. I change it, but again here I have to change it. And then, okay. And now I type A. It is integer. What do you think? It is okay or not? Is an error or not? of course here this function is too simple, but I want to say that attention to the input and output. Yeah, it is an no, the input is okay, because the input Zahra, the input is where is it? The input is integer. Yeah, but it is an error. I only must say that attention to this. Attention. Yeah, but it is not. Then we call this error. We said that we have 3 types of errors. We called it syntax, and then some errors we called it related to the concept, the program run, but the output is not semantic error. We called it semantic error. Okay. Now, for example, and of course another thing is that we must because here it is also related to the definition of a function. Here w1 is integer, and it is natural, it is usual that the w2 is also an integer. Then if we want to change this to a string, we have to, for example, set that w3 is a string w2. Okay, and here return w3. Okay, and then now I don't know, we run it again. For example, again we run it. Now we set the type A. What is type A? What do you think? Now it is a string. Okay. Then according to this, we are also according to our coding. Okay. Also we can set that, okay, we return w3 and the type of w3. Of course, w is not capital. Where is it? Okay. Then I save it, I run it. Then again. Now you see the output is 4, and the class of this 4 is a string. Okay, and sometimes we can for example have more than one input. For example, w2 is again we can set that integer, and here is w1, w2, again here is w3, w3, w4, and now is w4 and w4. Okay, then I run it. Sorry again. Again, I said that. Okay, adding 2 and 3, for example. Okay. Sometimes we want to have a default. To have a default for one of our input. Okay. After this, we can set that our default for this summation is 1, for example. Then I said that, okay, 2 with 1 input. Then set that W2 here. I said that one required one, it said that it needs 2 inputs. But what can I do? I want to, here is okay, but I want to use one default. For example, I change. What do you think? I think it's okay. You don't have any ideas? Okay, okay. I change it. And for example, W, and it is, for example, a string. And our default is, I don't know, CD. Okay? And then save, run. And now what I can do? It is, for example, add ABC you see that the default is ABCD, and now we have only one input. Okay, and if I change, I don't want to use the default. I want to set that, okay, ABC, and for example, I don't know, hi. The default is CD, but I can use the default or not. And if I change it to integer, why it doesn't work? I think it's integer, and if my integer is 1. Okay, again I save, I run, and if I use this, it is okay. You see it. But if I use this, oh, it now works. Maybe at that time I don't run it, maybe. You see that? Okay. We have to save and run. Okay. Don't questions? Okay. Now, come back to this. Okay. Here you see there are some function here, and another thing you see this init. It is the shorten of initialization. We have some functions. We called it magic function. Okay, we called it the magic function. What is the magic function? The forms is like this: underline the name of the function, and then underline. We called it the magic function. Okay. For example, let's write on. For example, here. For example, if 1 is equal to 2, okay, of course, example A, okay, if, because it is not 2, okay, then we cannot see anything. If 1 is equal to 1, then it is AA. Instead of using these two notation, we can use this underline equal, okay, underline, okay. And how it works, for example, you can help it, you can search it in Google, in Python, and also here we have it also, okay. Then this is like this. Another thing, in this book doesn't obey the rule of the name definition. It is usual that when we want to use define the name of a class, we use a capital letter, and for a function usually we use not capital letter, okay. And another thing, for example, here in my example, the name of this function, it contains 2 words. Then I can use underline. But in class, we type the name without any underlines, lines, or anything. Okay, this is the differences between function and class. Another thing is that a class contains some behavior, okay, and some variables, attributes. The behavior of a class is its method, is its function. Then this neural network class has a three functions or methods. And also this class contains some attributes. It means that it has some variables. Okay. And another thing is that we can make some object from class. Okay. One of you asked how many functions for neural network? I don't understand you well, but it depends. You know, if you search for neural network, there are many defined and functions about it. For example, in this book also, after the explanation said that, okay, we have here in GitHub, the Rashid code is in GitHub, and then you can copy and paste it in PyCharm, in Anaconda, everywhere, and then run it. But our goal is that we want to know, as in book, we want to know how we write this. What is the concept, for example, numpy ... Okay, what is definition? Our goal here is this. And another thing about class, as I said before, we can make different objects from only one class. For example, here is another example in this book about the DAG class, and said that, okay, it is the definition of class, the main class, okay, and then we can make other objects from a unique class and then work with this and this. For example, the class is like a factory, okay, and the object is the output of the factory. The main behavior is similar to each other. This is dark, this is also dark. Okay, this is the class. We called it class, and we can use class and its objects in different way. Okay, said that it is a special library, rich library. Neural network, no, neural network only the class. A library, I said that before in the previous session, we have some function, okay, we have some function, and for example, function 1, function 2, function 3, and then this function make modules. Okay, we called it module 1, and maybe we have another module, and this module also contains another functions. Okay, and the summation of these modules is library. Okay, But the class, and then we can call library, modules, and functions. Okay, but in class, as I said, it's like a factory. This class produces some objects with some behavior, with different variables, attributes. Then it contains method and function and attributes. We called it behavior, we called it variables. They are completely different. Okay, Zahra? Okay, if you have any question, please ask. Then, in the next session, now we're familiar with function and class. In the next session, of course, we have some, I have another example about the function and class, but it is enough for us for this session. In the next session, we want to review this neural network. As you see, step by step, initialize it, and then said about how we can initialize the weighting, the input, how we can calculate the outputs, and like this. Okay? No questions? Okay. And now, after finishing this, I would like to explain about your exercise. In fact, at first I must define a specific data set and said that, okay, all of you work with this data set. But after that, I said that I think maybe some of you use like medicine, for example, like CT scan images, MRI, and again, among these, some of you maybe like working with brain images, some of you like for heart images. Then, after thinking, I decided that you yourself select your data set. For example, if you search, you know this, but because some of you ask me about this, for example, you can, if you want, you can search about face images data set or database. All of you is okay. You said that 10 face database to start a facial recognition patterns. Here is top 14. I want you yourself search about all of this, and after that, for example, if you choose face, you can decide. For example, our goal, or about our goal, decide that you want to recognize the sexual of the face, or the feeling of the face. For example, this is happy, this is angry, for example. About the eyes, they are open or closed. About the face recognition in driving, and then setting the alarm in driving, and recognition the sleepy face. Okay, there are many things. Or also, for example, you can search about neuroscience data set, list of neuroscience. Okay, then there are many things. Or you can any things you about the air pollution, about the handwriting, about the human walking, about the fingerprints, about the iris, about the heart, liver, anything you want to know. Then search about it, and then after that it is where is it? It is clear. Then at first you must select your goal, and then after that select a data set, and then do these steps. Okay. The 2 to 5 is related to machine learning, classic machine learning methods, and 6 is related to deep learning. And you can write the code in MATLAB or Python. No problem. Zahra said that what if the students select the same set? No problem. But when you select your data set, you must send it and introduce me your data set and your goal. Your goal must not be the same. Okay? For example, you use one data set. Okay? One of you must say about the feeling of face. One of you must do about the face recognition. Your goal must be different. Okay? And another thing, you can also search about the paper, and then do these things. I think it is your problem, nightmare, like always. Do you hear me, other students? Okay. Thanks. Then, at first, you must also instead of using the data set and goal, you can search about the paper, send the paper to me, and then I said that it is okay. And also another thing, also maybe you said that okay, there are some papers with its coding. Okay, understanding the code and explain about the program and understanding step by steps is okay. Then after you understand it, you have to write a report and set that in the paper, in any papers. I'm sure about it. If you find a paper with its code, it is the last level of this exercise. In none of the paper, you cannot find the details about the code. I'm sure about it. Okay? Then you have to run it yourself on your system according to the version of your MATLAB and Python and learn about it. In this course, we want to learn machine learning algorithms and neural networks and deep learning. Okay? Then, when we want to learn, if I explain, okay, this method and explain about the special methods and its features, you hear something, you study about it. But the most important thing is that whenever you want write a code, and you yourself must interpret, you yourself must explain it. In this way, you learn in the best way. Okay? Okay. And another thing is that I explain about the deadline. Okay? And before this date, please say me about what do you want to work on it, about the topic that you want to work on it, with and explain about the code, explain that okay, you want to work with MATLAB or Python. And if you search about paper, send me the paper. Anyway, explain it. Okay. Zahra, it is your problem. My internet is good, I think, of course. And other students hear me. Okay. No questions about the exercise? Any questions about the exercise, about the Python or other things? Okay. Thanks for your attention. Anyway, if you have any problems, any questions about the exercise, please ask me in Telegram. Please ask me, I will explain. In the final exam, another thing that Yasser asked, according to the university rule, we have to have a final exam. This final exam, it contains a few questions. Okay? This exercise, I explain it in a Telegram group. Let me to bring it. Just a moment, please. In the Telegram group, I explain it. Okay, about the message contains and I pin it. The final exam is around the 2 scores. Okay, but this exercise contains 18 scores. Okay, around X. Maybe it is 17, the final 3 scores, okay, around it. Then, a summary, you must define your topic that you want, you work on it for the project of this work, your data set, then send it to me. I write it down, I prepare a file and write your name, the project that you want. If, for example, 2 students have the same data set, they must have different topics, and after the deadline, you must, of course before the deadline, you must send me your report, your code, and then I arrange a Skype or Adobe session, and then you must explain it to me around 5 to 10 minutes. You must explain to your code, about your report, about your results. Yes, you must explain the exercise details. And I ask you about your code and the results. And then it is clear that you yourself do it or not. You must explain it. Our goal is that you learn it. Then please learn it. It is the result of my talking. Learn it, okay? If you learn it, no problems. Then only attention to the deadline. Before the deadline, send me the deadline for this exercise, and its presentation is here. Okay, before it, you must send the report. Okay. Thanks for your attention, and good afternoon to all of you. Have a good time. Bye.